Hello everyone and welcome to this month e-commerce network meeting that we are holding together with the Swedish Chamber of Commerce in China. My name is Helena and I'm from Empress Consulting, and next to me I have
Simon Kai from Triple Digit.
If you're a Swedish company in China, you are very welcome to join this e-commerce meeting group that we have. We meet once a month. But you can also watch our videos that we will post after each meeting. So this month we will focus on the topic of live streaming. And a little short introduction about live streaming in China. Live streaming been a thing here since like 2016, 2017. And a lot of platforms, online platforms, started to integrate this into their sales actually long time ago, but it wasn't really until 2020 when it really started to boom due to the pandemic. And today I would say that live streaming is really an integrated part of e-commerce. What do you think, Simon?
Wow, that's very amazing. Yeah, the growth has been so fast.
Yeah, it has. And one example we can look at that's pretty interesting is a Shanghai-based brand called Forest Cabin, the Chinese translation. And they had around 300 more stores in China. But due to the pandemic, they had to close down around 150 of them. And the CEO saw that, okay, we don't have much left until we go bankrupt. But then they actually changed their sales strategy. So within 2 weeks, they trained 1,600 shop assistants to do Taobao live streaming and sell through their Tmall stores. And their online sales went from 25 to 90% of their total sales. So instead of going bankrupt, they actually managed to increase their revenue with 45% compared to the same period last year.
Yeah, I think this is a very typical case, right? I mean, from a local brand that's actually focusing more on online sales than physical stores.
Yeah, and it's very interesting how fast you can change your strategy. And I think that's also something that happens in China. It's China speed.
Yeah, exactly.
And here we can look a little bit at the growth of live streaming, first of all. So we can see that the growth is sort of, slowing down. But when it comes to the GMV, the gross merchandise value, it's increasing every year. So this year, 2022, they're expected to reach 2.85 billion Chinese yuan, which is a lot. And who are the people that are using live streaming? So we can see from last year in June 2021, 637 million Chinese people were actually watching live streaming, which is 63% of the total internet users. So you can really see it's a huge trend in China. The biggest audience are millennials and Gen Z, but I think the biggest group is the younger one, between like 25 and 30 years old. Female audience has been the dominating audience, but we can also see now that the men audience is also increasing. I don't know, Simon, what's your take on that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually curious to see how come there are so many people watching live streaming. I mean, comparing to the West, live streaming is so popular in China. What do you think? What is the reason behind people's habit to watch live streaming?
Yeah, I think it's an entertaining way to buy products, and you can also involve with a salesperson in live, and there's also a way to learn and see about the products as well in a different way than just watching pictures online. And I think the interesting thing is that they're selling, all kinds of products can be sold through live streaming. And that's why we also see a little bit of an older, more senior audience becoming bigger as well. Maybe buying groceries through live streaming, or fruit from your fruit store.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's sort of like what I've seen, right? It's becoming like a habit, right? People are used to, take out their app and then they can or sitting on the bus, or between breaks they can just watch and learn more about a specific product or a brand.
Yeah. And we could see the top products, like what are people buying through live streaming. And here we have the top categories from last year's Double 11 from Tmall. And we can see the most sold products through the live stream was skin and body care, which I think is not so surprising. Second, we have the menswear. This one is a little bit more interesting.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, like you wouldn't expect that the menswear would rank so high, right? But here, maybe it's the girlfriends and the wives that's buying for their husbands, right?
Yeah, that could be a reason. But we also know that the men audience is increasing, so it's something to look out for.
Yeah, I mean, so the Gen Z, the younger Chinese men, what we actually can see is that they're much more interesting in their appearance and fashion. Yeah, so definitely that's a good reason.
Yeah, sanitary products, beauty products, underwear. It's good to buy underwear through live streaming. Kitchen appliances and food and snacks. So I think this is pretty similar to what we see in general, that the best sold products during Double 11.
Yeah, and I would say that with all this basic wear, right, like food, snacks, and sanitary, what I can see is that a lot of younger people they simply wait until Double 11. They buy the stock for the whole year almost, because they know that the price is good and they will always need these products.
Yeah, and usually during live stream we'll talk about that a little bit later too, but there's usually a very good deal as well that you can catch, and Double 11 is probably even a better deal.
Yeah.
So some typical characteristics of live streaming in China. I think first of all, Simon, you were asking before why people are watching live streaming and buying from it, but I think the entertaining mode is very important. Usually a live streaming is it's very energetic. It's also live participation, so the consumers or the users they can ask their questions when they watch. They can get answers straight away. They can also send emojis, feelings when they are watching the live stream. Usually the live stream is also very discount driven. You can make very good deals watching a live stream, usually, not always. There will also be probably a lot of impulse buying because of this. There are huge discounts, there are excitement, entertaining, people around you are buying, because each time someone buy or put the product to their shopping cart, you can see this as well. So this will also create some sort of maybe group pressure, I don't know, to buy.
Yeah, you want to buy, you don't want to miss out, FOMO.
Yeah, and if you buy something, probably also there's a chance that you will also return the product when you actually receive it to your home. So that's something to be prepared for.
Yeah, and we'll see soon, like we'll show how it looks like with the actual live streaming for different platforms.
Yeah. And also it can be, educational as well to watch live streaming. I have many friends that maybe don't go on live streaming to buy things, but, to learn. It can be about a topic or a product, and then they will actually do the purchase much later on, but it's a part of the buying journey as well.
I mean, Helena, maybe, from your own experience, since you grew up and lived most of your life in Sweden and now you live in China, do you see yourself also changing the behavior of buying stuff,
I am.
Also watching live streamers?
I am. I've been in China for more than 10 years now, and I buy everything I buy is through online platforms in China. I would never go to a homepage of a brand, for example. So of course, then the live stream is a big part of the store and the shopping experience. So that's something I will do.
Yeah, that's interesting to hear.
Yeah, and also if a new brand is launching a new campaign or new products, it's also a very good way to use the live streaming to show this to your consumers. With people actually explaining about the products, talk about the products, and create excitement around it. And usually live streaming can be time limited, so it depends on if you are doing the live streaming in your own store, then you probably have a few hours. But if you are working with KOL or KOC, we will talk about this later, then maybe the KOL will have 1 hour where they will present, say, 10 products. And then your brand will only have, a limited time slot of this. So then it's very important that you get out all the information in this short period of time.
Yeah, I agree.
And I don't think you should expect too much loyalty from live streaming. If you collaborate with a KOL, for example, and you sell out a lot of products through the live streaming, don't expect these customers to always come back. So this is a long-term investment to grow your consumers and followers.
Yeah.
So where do you live stream? How do you live stream? And there are different ways to do it. Either you can do it in a studio. If you have a bigger budget, maybe you work with a production company. They will help you to set up the live streaming. But you can also do it in a store. If you already have a store, that's a great way to show products. You see, it can be done pretty simple, pretty easy. But you can also do it in your own office or in a factory. I think factory live streaming is very common in China. So you set up your own backdrop and you buy the tools that you need to do the live streaming, and then you go ahead.
Yeah. And here, I think, the interesting thing is to see that compared to many Western live streams, right, where you see on the websites, they often emphasize on it should look very good, in a studio, while in China, actually, a lot of live streams are happening inside the stores.
Yeah.
So I think from a consumer perspective, you get a different feel, right, like actually going to the store, so it feels... For me, I can think that it feels more realistic, right? The product is looking exactly like how it looks like when you get it.
Yeah, and it feels very real, right? Almost like you're there, and they are not spending too much money on the production either. So the quality is not super good, but it's still entertaining and real. And I think that's what a lot of consumers are asking for as well. They don't want it to be fancy or build up of a brand, but more like this is actually real and I can trust this.
Yeah.
Okay, and then there are different platforms where you can live stream.
Yeah, I mean, so we want to go through a couple of platforms, right? The most popular ones, but let's start with Douyin, which is obviously the TikTok version of China, and looking at the statistics, you have very good daily active users, more than 600 million, which is amazing, and the e-commerce part of Douyin has actually grew a lot, right? So now generating almost 381 billion RMB, and yeah, let's see how it looks like with one of the live streams in Douyin.
上次我不是去梦洁给闺蜜买床品作为新婚礼物吗？哇，这段时间梦洁21家旗舰店连开，一共18000平，真的是非常高端呢。闺蜜收到之后很开心，说换上床品睡觉更香了。听说这次梦洁出了新品，我立马就买回来了。想看看专注高端床品65年连续12年全国销量领先的梦洁到底有多好睡？哇，这个7A羽绒被新下好有质感哦！别看它有这么大，抱在手里就像抱一团羽毛一样。 是波兰进口的白鹅绒，这种大组鹅绒比普通的鹅绒直径大了近1倍，在保证保暖力的同时呢，它的轻度也非常高，闻起来完全没有普鹅绒的那种异味。再试试蓬松度，哇，这手感真是绝了，轻轻一压，立马就会回弹起来。店员介绍说，这款7A 级别羽绒被，它的
The next platform is the biggest one, which is the Taobao Live. And Taobao Live is together with Tmall Global and Taobao and 1688. It's Alibaba's platform, and you can see here that the GMV is more than 600 billion, right? And the user growth is also increasing very fast. Yeah, let's see how it looks like for a streamer on Taobao Live. So you can see here during the live stream that you have fans engaging with the streamer, asking questions or commenting, and also you can see there's presenting different discounts or product available now. Yeah, and here's another stream, which is about
也可以要
actually
求
in the factory, right?
联系
1688
对口联系
platform.
阿法拉法的人
Yeah,
员，
so
你
this
可以
is
送到我们相应的
the sort of the
进行
Alibaba.com
看得清吗？
local
放得近一点。
platform.
给大家看一下，展示一下啊。
So this is
大家可以
the
就近选
Swedish
择。
company Alfa Laval that's doing a
我
live
们有6个
stream
维修中
talking
心
about
在全国。
their company location and so on. So many different kinds of companies can actually do live streaming.
Yeah, it's very interesting to see that actually the factory, right, or the traditional industrial companies are also starting to embrace this kind of new way to showcase their products.
But it's important to remember that, 63% of all the internet users in China are watching live streamers. So that means, regardless of what industry you're in, people are, consumers, and they have the same behavior, regardless if they're buying a B2B product or a B2C product.
Yeah, definitely.
配方都是来自于海洋城。
Okay, moving on. This is a new platform, or a relatively new platform called Dewu, and this is a platform which has grown tremendously over the past few years only. So now it's 81 million monthly users in 2021. And what's interesting to see here is that the majority of the users are actually born post 90s, right? It's the Gen Z. So the platform is focusing on the next generation of shoppers.
And what kind of products is that?
Yeah, so Dewu, it started out as a sneaker platform. So they started out with selling, only sneakers. But then now what you can see is that expanding towards, a broader product category. But still, the product is supposed to be trendy, right? So it should be suitable more for the younger generation.
Okay.
Let's see how it looks like for a live stream on Dewu.
揭晓一下，这一款就是基础款DW560BB，而这一款就是进阶款GWM5610BB。两款手表其实长得差不多，但是它们的配置上还是有很大差异的，并且价格也不一样。作为基础款式的560BB，它有防
It's
震。
a very funny voice.
Yeah,
maybe.
what's up with that voice?
Yeah, so what you can actually see in a lot of live streams in China is that they use sort of like an artificial voice. And this is just a trend, right? That you talk in a funny voice, right? And the users, they like it.
So again, back to entertainment.
Exactly. The entertainment factor of a live stream is very important to keep the users engaged, right? While they're learning about the product.
Yeah.
揭晓一下这。
And this, sorry, I just want to go back here because
yeah.
I see these interesting numbers of about the male users, 52%. That's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, so actually, a lot of the platforms, it's dominated the females for the live stream watchers, right? But actually, on Dewu, the males are the majority. So this is also a way for a brand to diversify, right? To reach out to different target audience, also a different gender, right? Because Dewu started out as a sneaker platform, so naturally, most of the users are male.
Okay, because male prefer to buy sneakers.
Yeah. Yeah, that's common in China.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. So moving on, I want to talk a little bit about the brand own flagship store, right? So when you have a own flagship store on, for example, here you can see it's on Tmall. It's actually quite common to have your own staff, right? Or a professional live streamer to talk about the brand and the products. And here you can have more time to educate the customer about the brand story and also the product functions. And this is a common way for Chinese potential consumers to understand more about your brand. So it's a complement to the actual website and the information there. But you get it in a video format, which is, the popular way to understand and learn about new information.
Let's have a little look at what this one looks
同
like.
时呢，玻璃瓶身还有一个淡粉色的液体。
Yeah, so you can see here, very
全新
similar
上线
to
的
the
美丽人参香水。
other live
一个女
streams. You
生
have the
会
product
护肤
information,
代
but
表
also
你有要求。
obviously
一个
some
女生
limited
既护
discounts
肤
as well
也化妆，
in
代表
the
你自
live
己
stream
是
of the
非
brand flagship store.
Yeah. And just a curious question, when is a good time to do live streaming? like in the day?
Yeah, I mean, depending on the product and the target group, you can do live stream throughout all day, right?
Okay.
Or like different once a week. So it's very much up to the brand to decide on this. What's most common is that actually you have a daily live stream, and it's usually in the evening when people get off work and they have some time to watch the live stream.
Yeah, I see on the subway here around 6-7 o'clock. A lot of people are watching live streaming on their phones. Actually,
that's
on their way back home.
That's very common.
同时呢，
Okay, and then live streaming. So we talked about the brand Flagship store, and now I want to cover a bit information about the KOL live streaming. So KOL live streaming.
What is a KOL? Sorry.
Okay, no worries. So KOL is a key opinion leader,
Okay.
and you can say that it's a live streamer who has a large amount of users. So it's usually top 1 or top 2 of the most users viewing the live stream.
So basically an influencer.
Exactly.
That is with a profession in live streaming.
Exactly. So for a top KOL, usually what they do is they live stream throughout the day, right? But for different brands and different products.
Okay.
And it's a very good way for a brand to get awareness to a lot of people in a short time. And the KOL usually can give you a lot of sales. But however, I want to emphasize that it's usually quite expensive to work with KOL. They usually have a fixed fee together with a commission, and you have to give them, the lowest price. So from a brand perspective, it might not be a suitable way in the long run to only work with KOLs, because you have also a very high return rate, because the audience is not, they're very impulse buying. And for a product and a brand that has a small budget, this might not be the best fit. And also, what we see lately with the top KOL influencer, Weiya, which has been in the news, that she used to be number 1, but now she's gone because she had some tax issues. So that is also a risk when you work with such a one-person big influencers, that because of regulation or personal reasons, they might be banned.
Yeah.
Let's take a look on the live stream. Yeah.
Let's...
跟你们说 ，everybody 不能喝牛奶的男孩、女孩以及
So
小朋友。
this guy,
who is he?
this guy is
I've seen him before.
he's I think he's number 1 now. So this is Austin, and he's a popular live
家里有
streamer
黑咖
that
啡没？
works with so
昨
many
天晚上在我们
different
这边买了
brands.
黑咖没？
And here
所有
he's
女生
selling
们用
Oatly,
它
a
直接
Swedish
泡
brand.
就是
Exactly.
什么的
And you see, a very typical trait is that they have very high energy, and his signature is like 3, 2, 1, buy, and then you have to buy.
Okay, he's very convincing.
Yeah, very convincing.
Okay, that's very interesting.
I-
So if you work with this kind of KOL, do they have their own store, or do they sell through your store, or how does it work?
Yeah, so often when you work as a brand together with a KOL, you will have to give them a certain amount of stock guaranteed.
Okay.
And I mentioned before the lowest price, they often require, it has to be much lower than your flagship store.
Yeah.
And in that way, they have the requirement to that's one of the requirements to work with them. And you can see here that they actually have over 25 million users almost watching his live
Watching
stream.
this.
Yeah, so it's amazing numbers.
That's amazing, yeah.
跟你们说，
Okay, moving on. What we can see is the second category, which is the KOCs. So back to the definition of KOC, it's a key opinion consumer.
Okay.
And here, typically for the KOC, they don't charge a fixed fee. So it's only commission. So from a brand perspective, it's quite a low risk. And the typical KOC usually has a very loyal fan base, which always buys from the person. So it's not about the brand; it's more about the KOC itself to support that person.
Yeah.
And for a brand perspective, when you work with a KOC, you make sure that you reach a different segment of the consumer, maybe in a 4th tier or 5th tier city, which you usually don't, reach with the traditional digital media. let's have a look at the
然后它的底面
KOCs.
身高一共是5公分左右吧，老爹鞋，今天
So it doesn't feel that different from
就注意你的乐哥。
the KOL
这样子姐妹
actually.
们
No,
要
no,
玩
it's
过游
it's
戏的
basically
要
it's
玩
the
过
same
游戏的
setup,
姐
right?
妹们
The difference here is maybe you can see is the user is watching the live stream. So here it's only 200,000
Okay.
compared to the 24 million which we saw with Austin before.
So it really depends on the brand's budget and the strategy, what kind of way you want to go. Because like you said, working with a KOL, it can be very costly as well.
Yes, exactly. And what often the bigger brands do is that they combine, right? So they have this KOL collaboration for the bigger sales event, but then they also have a strategy with the KOCs in order to, you know, actually widen the following, right? The loyal consumer base.
Yeah.
然后它的
Okay, so in terms of timing, what would you say is the good way to start with live streaming?
I mean, I think it's very important that you have to know that how Chinese consumer, how they are behaving. So usually, if they hear about a new brand when they're watching a live streaming, a brand they never heard about before, they will most probably do a lot of research on other platforms, other social media platforms like Xiaohongshu, WeChat, maybe even search like Baidu, which is China's Google. So I think it's very important before you start to invest in live streaming that you have a sort of an awareness base or be prepared for people looking up your brand. And you should already have invested in some consumer reviews on different platforms. So when the consumers are seeing you in the live stream and they start to look up your brand, they should read good things about your brand and they should feel this is a brand that they want to buy for. So be prepared before you go into live streaming. And it's very important also to know that you have your logistics and inventory under control, because you might sell a lot. So like if you work with a KOC with a pretty loyal fan base and you have the perfect product matching them, then you should expect to sell a lot, and then you have to have the inventory prepared for this, and you have to be sure to send out the products within 2 days.
Yeah, exactly. And here I see a lot of brands actually they because of lack of experience they don't think it's this kind of quantity. So I really like what you said, Helena, with the logistics and making sure that you can actually deliver the orders is very crucial in order to take full use of the live streamer.
Yeah, because if the product arrives late or the consumers can't get the products, then they might get angry as well and not happy, and then they will start write bad reviews about you and the brand and their experience, and that's something that we don't want.
Yeah.
And then I think the last thing is to keep trying. Maybe the first time you do a live stream, you do it by yourself. You learn some. Maybe next time you will work with a KOC or maybe even a KOL if you have the budget. But make sure collect data and improve for each time that you're doing it, and also understand what your consumers want to hear and what they want to see, because each brand is unique and the audience will be unique. So make sure that you find your own way of live streaming and don't give up. Keep trying.
Yeah, I really like what you're saying about the trying, right?
Yeah.
Because it's so easy to actually start a live stream. You just need a mobile phone, and then you can try out different campaign or different ways of presenting, right? In order to see which works the best for your product.
Exactly. So it doesn't have to cost a lot. It can cost a lot, but it depends on where you are in your journey as a brand.
Yeah, so I want to actually talk about a specific case which we worked with. So this is a beauty brand from the Nordics, and the brand has very little awareness in China today. However, they're very aware that they should invest in building up the brand throughout the different social media channels. Yeah. So this is what they've done. They started up social media channels on all the big Chinese social media platforms such as Weibo, Xiaohongshu, etc. And now they're on the way of actually starting their first KOC live streaming campaign. Yeah.
Okay.
So what they embraced, so we recommended to them a number of KOCs, which we think has a good product fit. And what they would do is that they will make the actual product reviews and talk about the product and you know how it works and functions, and then we will see, you know, what is the result of that, and then they can decide on which KOC they probably want to collaborate with in the future as well. This is a way to for them to get the feel of it, right? So like we talked about before, Helena, the KOC doesn't require a fixed fee, so it's easy for them to try out which KOC works well. And for this brand, it's not a super big brand, so their budget for China is not as big as maybe the top brands, but they're willing to try, and they have a small budget to allocate to this kind of live streaming campaign.
So, but if you're a new brand in the Chinese market, how do you make sure that the KOCs get the best, you know, understanding of your product when they're presenting it? Because that's pretty crucial, right?
Yeah, exactly. I totally agree. I mean, for a brand to actually have this kind of product education or brand education, right? So in this case, they're working with us. We are a TP company, so we have had a good training together with their marketing people, right, and their customer service people. So we make sure that we understand the brand as a whole, and then we will educate to different KOCs, you know, what to say, what are the unique selling points of the product, etc. But this is obviously just one option. You can, if you have the resources, you have the people, then you can talk to the KOC one by one. But obviously that requires a lot of time invested from the brand.
Yeah. So just a curious question for this brand that you're working with. How many KOCs will they involve in the beginning?
Yeah, so we started out with presenting to them like one big investment or a small investment. So we had one option with 10 KOCs and one with 50. So the one they chose, it was 10, and it's very understandable because this is the first time they're doing this. Yeah. So they want to see like what is the engagement needed from their side as well as what is the return that they get on this investment.
So keep it under control first, and then after you get the data and the results, then step by step you can also reach out to more KOCs.
Exactly.
Okay. I think that's everything from today's presentation. Thank you all for joining. Next month we have a new topic where we will discuss e-commerce store design in China. So this is basically online platforms store design, what it will look like. And again, if you are a member of the Swedish Chamber, you're very welcome to join our e-commerce group meetings that we will have. And if you have any questions, you're very welcome to reach out to me, Helena, and Simon. And here you have our contact information.
Okay, so thank you guys for watching this video, and see you next time.
See you next month. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.